Good morning. Welcome to Options Tender. It is Wednesday before Thanksgiving. You guys have a safe night tonight if you're going out. Biggest bar night of the year. We are going to, and have a happy Thanksgiving. Okay, we're going to go through SPY on the daily QQQ. We'll check out the dollar, bonds, and rates because those are starting to turn, and we have an inverse correlation. I do think that will change over time when bad news starts to become bad news. And so as of right now, if rates rise, the market goes down. If the dollar rises, the market goes down. So we're going to check those out. I don't usually do those, but I think it's worth taking a look at. And at the end, we're going to check out Tesla and what I think Tesla is going to do in two different scenarios. I have two different market scenarios, two primary scenarios. One that I call my primary, the other that I call alternate. And I'm going to go through those, the Elliott wave counts, and then SPY on the 65 and QQQ on the 65. So thanks for joining us here. If you're new, go down to that bottom right-hand corner, hit that Options Tender logo, and subscribe. And don't forget to like the video. That's the best thing. If this information helps you out, that's the best thing that you can do for this channel is hit those like buttons. We're finally over 500 subscribers. I said we'd start going live as soon as I get my butt together and get this new office set up because I have to get the fiber internet and stuff like that. All right. So now let's get down to business. We have SPY on the daily time frame. You see this optical point of view of the wedge. We're possibly could fill this wedge out, not make new highs, and continue lower. That would be one scenario. That is not my primary scenario. My primary scenario is that we're getting our reversal right here, right now. We reached the top of this channel. That this was not confirmed. This is only a pivot, but if we reverse off of here, this becomes a strong known trend line. And so that will be to reckon with. If we come back up here, that will be a spot to keep an eye on. Remember, a trend line has to be more than 2 points. So we had our correction. We had our initial move down, our ABC correction where that top, I believe, is in a 5-wave impulse move, a massive move to the upside. And it does not look, without the big tech stocks, it does not look like this. So if you go to RSP, which we can, RSP, this is an equal weighted ETF. We're really just retracing back just above the 50%. We might be at the 60% or so. But this is what, if everybody didn't pile into the same stocks, we're almost at that 62%. That's a beautiful 1-2 setup. And I think we're done here. Now, if I am wrong, the scenario that I am wrong with that, and we're traders, so we're going to trade it. Who cares about being wrong? We just don't want to be wrong with our money. I'm already in these inputs here. I have a reversal type strategy that I started scaling in, and now I'm in some naked puts as of today. Going into next week, in our Patreon, we have those trades. Okay, so we reverse off of this channel top, and we're looking for a higher low, possibly here. We get underneath this 430 area, and then we're looking to test our, again, that's a pivot. It's a possible trend line of a wedge. All right. And then we'd go higher. If we break down from this wedge, clearly we're in the bearish scenario and we have much further to go. So two real main spots to look at. I can get rid of that pivot there. I'll hold on to it just in case we really want a shallow pullback before heading higher. I'm not sure that's the case, but we'll leave that there for now. Okay, so going to, I'll get the Elliott wave picture out of the way. I'm not going to do it with all the other products, but we have our A initial down. We have our B, that's what I was talking about, This meaning this high is this is good as well. We have impulse down for 1, an A, very small B, C into the 89% pullback, real deep retracement, testing that upper channel as a 2, and then we start heading down to 3. I'll have to adjust this a little bit, but this is about the area it should be. That would be our wave 3 impulse move down, and it should be relentless. The bounces should be shallow if this is the case. So we'll have to look at the nature of the pullback. Now, looking at we're going to look at just a couple things here. On the reversal, our reversal indicator, we finally got a negative divergence on the SPY. We're starting to roll over on the histogram here. We don't have a crossover. So this is kind of the bull caveat here, is where momentum's up and we could come all the way back down to this 0 line and still continue to the upside, making a higher low in the market and on the MACD. So that's something we have to pay attention to. We have our divergence here on the Williams %R. I didn't think it would oscillate up here that long, but clearly this is a massive move. And so we're looking for our reversal coming really soon, as of probably next week. And probably, Fridays may just be another doji day with the holidays, but on Monday and Tuesday, we should start continuing a move down. All right. Nothing goes in a straight line, but it should be a pretty impulsive move to the downside. And if we're looking for this being a wave 1, if you count this as a wave 1 and we're looking for a higher low, we should get some sort of, funky zigzag or so anyway, which is going to be impulsive 3-wave move down. So you'll have a 5-3-5, which is going to be pretty intense as well. Anyway, so checking this out, going back to, we can look at, we're not quite up to the top of the Bollinger Band. That's not going to help us out right now. We have the Keltner channel. Keltner channel, we're way above. So, we're way, just almost a 3 standard deviation move outside of there. So we're just due for a pullback. That's all that's telling us. And I'm putting the DMARC count. We have a new exhaustion count here. And so that signaled today. And so right with this reversal, it doesn't have to be the last candle, but it is a perfection, exhaustion 9 count there. So that's also a signal for us. We did have one back here until it was negated with this move here, but now we have another. So that's a good sign of a reversal. Plus this doji candle here, if we just stop with this doji, that's a good enough sign to take a chance. If we get above this candle here, that's negated. But I do think that we do have our top in at this point. So let's go over quickly to the QQQ. And we'll just check this out. We're not going to go through, well, shoot, I want to be thorough. So we have the same thing, but you see this wedge, it's just a little bit steeper here. So it is quite possible that this wedge, if this wedge holds and it just seems that this bull flag fits perfectly to where a reversal might end up. So that would end up right at the wedge bottom. If this is to hold, and Qs are probably to watch, because the Qs are the ones that are going to lead this market higher if it does, in my opinion, because they have so far. So I do think if this holds, the flag, the channel, and the ascending triangle, if that holds, then we're probably going to go to all-time highs in the Qs. All right, so we'll probably head back up. It doesn't have to touch the top of this, but we'd be looking for this being a wave 1. Right now, it looks like a wave 5. If you count this in certain different ways, you can get a 1-2, 1-2, or even a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. So 3 times. I would think that this is just a single move in itself. So 1-2, 1-2. 3, 4, 5, and we'd continue for another wave 4, which comes down into the previous wave 4, which that would work out perfect. And then we have one final 5-wave move up for a wave 5. Could be ending diagonal, could be impulsive. Whatever the case is, it's likely that we test the highs and or get to new all-time highs. Now, that's not the case for SPY. I repeat over and over, I do not think that SPY is going to get a new all-time high. It doesn't matter if the Qs do or not. All of the information from fundamentals say that SPY is not going to get new all-time highs. And so whether we do or not in the Qs is waited to be seen. I think that this top is in here. We're going to see if this holds. If this holds, then we have higher to go. But don't we do these videos often, so please do hit that notification button, because if we come down here and we bounce, that doesn't say, hey, okay, you got to get into that bullish scenario. You want to be careful, and you can play the bounce if you want to, but that bounce could be the shallow bounce for the 1-2 setup to head lower. Okay, this might not just give away just so easily, so we might rip through it. I don't know. Anything could happen. Clearly, we didn't know this was going to happen out of the breakout. So we reverse from here, perhaps get a bounce or continue to highs, but look for some call protection in my mind, and call protection around these areas. So we can protect ourselves from being a rip your face off rally again. All right, I know there's other people that are calling this a wave 1, and if this is, then we have a heck of a lot more room to go. And they're talking about SPY making new all-time highs. I don't think that's the case. All right, so let's go over to the TNX. All right, with TNX, I kind of left this one to where I could show you what I'm looking at. I didn't put in the support or anything like that. Notice that in this area, we're right at that 100-day moving average. That's a simple moving average. That's a good spot. We're getting a nice reaction off of it. You see a wedge starting to form. So if you look at indicators, you'll notice that we're starting to form a bullish divergence with a wedge into, this is the stuff we look for. This is exactly what I do on a day-to-day basis. So we are right here. I want to draw this in on the video so you can see exactly what I look for. I look for the top here. We got a reaction off of it. We formed an ascending triangle, broke out from here. So such a huge move, and then pulling back to test that breakout zone. So do we make new highs here? I guess that will be kind of the question. If we do, the market's going to consider that very bad, and likely we're seeing inflation increase and things like that. But I just wanted to show you that we're at a support zone. We're retesting the breakout, and it's likely we at minimum get a bounce from here. Nothing else. I can show you the indicators. You start to see the divergence here, positive divergence. We're starting to lose on a histogram, just like opposite of SPY, and we're getting a buy signal here on the slow stoke. All right, so things to look at. And if we go over to the dollar, the dollar kind of gives us the same idea. So after this push down, we had a nice move out of here. We had positive divergence with this move, and we had a beautiful, just relentless move. And now we retraced half of that move. If you're to look at the Elliott Wave page, my Elliott Wave board, you'd see that's a 50% mark. Now that coincides with the 200-day moving average and support. Previously resistance, support, resistance, over and over. This is a really good spot here. So we're making this support again. So this is an area, not a very good drawing here. I thought it could be a megaphone type, but we're starting to get some sort of, I guess, wedge thing forming here, and we could possibly continue the move higher. Now, if this is some sort of 1-2 or an AB, we're going to have quite the move higher, possibly to this 110 area if it's just an ABC correction. But if this is a 1-2 setup after this nice correction here, then this could be one heck of a move to the upside, and that would not be good for the market. And let's see here. If we go to the bonds, that's just really, it's the inverse of T and X of the 10-year, and it appears here is that we have a little bit more room down, which tells me that the rates are going to go up a little bit more, because you have to count this. You can count this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You have all those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, and then we have to continue with the 4, 5 and a 4, 5. So we have room to go. We're forming a wedge. If we draw this wedge in, you can see, you can almost tell. You can just almost tell there's divergence without even drawing it in. But this would be our wedge as a wave 4. We got an ABC in here, meaning this looked like either an impulse with an ending diagonal giving a zigzag, or that this was moved down and it's an ABC ending here, which it doesn't matter either way. We're not going to put too much time into that, but it's wedging, and we're looking for this to break down and make new lows. All right, that's a really good setup for the bonds to make new lows. When everybody, I see all over the place on Twitter and whatnot that the bonds are done and that they're going to start rising. I do think in the future that's going to be the case when the Fed does pivot. Rates are going to rocket, or I should say crash, while the bonds are going to rocket to the upside. But I don't think that's the case yet. And the last thing I want to show you today, before our Thanksgiving little break, I don't know, I might make a video tomorrow as well, just find something else to put out there. But in either scenario, here's what I have. And I have a pivot right here. I want you to pay close attention to that. That coincides perfectly with this channel that or bull flag if you're bullish on this. Okay, bearish scenario, we did have I put a lotto, and unfortunately I did not put it out for members or the Discord, but I had a nice lotto coming into the top of this move here, and we took off our trade with a quick double this morning, and then it kept moving down, but I don't want to take the chances for this weekly. Anyway, we're sitting at the 8 EMA, but the whole point of this is if we get a higher low on SPX, I think that Tesla is going to be the driving force to move this market down. It's probably going to lead. It's probably going to make that new low here while the SPX makes a higher low. Okay. And if the SPX and QQQ make a higher low, I think that Tesla is going to be the one that you want to be in order to break out from this flag. It's probably going to take off from here. Now, that's the bullish sort of scenario, is that we'll be looking for divergence in Tesla, kind of a tea leaf on whether the market's going to move much lower or not. We start breaking down from these points here. Tesla starts breaking down from there. I think the market's going to it's going to be confirmed of the bearish scenario that I was talking about. If Tesla starts to hold these lows, yes, we could get a bounce and then lower. But if it starts just ripping and starting to break off this flag, I do think that the situation is more of the bounce and get a new high situation before heading much lower after that. But I hope that makes sense. Either way, I think Tesla makes a new low here. If it makes a new low on positive divergence, I think we have to watch out for the overall market to look for that higher low. So notice this is very important, and we can say the same thing about Apple in a sense. I wasn't going to go there, but just to make the point clear, Apple had the big old flag here, of course, but Apple had broken out from this wedge. So we're making the initial move out of there. Apple starts to pull back and holds these support zones in that flag, it's going to be a very important sign for the market. Do we just get a bounce here and the market bounces? Does it head lower or does it continue higher? That's really just going to be the key there. Those are two huge names to look at. And I'm continuing on. You don't have to watch the whole thing if you don't want to. NVIDIA could still just be consolidating here. Not much of a move yet. I would expect to test down here. And the same thing is what I'm talking about with Apple. Coming back to test its bull flag and to head higher. But if it starts to break down from there, I think we go lower at minimum to test these lows here, the 200-day moving average. Last but not least, and I said that over and over, we have the VIX. In the VIX, I noticed that I drew in this, the gap here on the 65-minute, and we closed that gap. I noticed that yesterday, so I drew that in there. I didn't think we were going to actually close it, and we closed that gap. So that is a sign to me. I put on some VXX calls for the VIX yesterday in the room, and I do expect those to start moving. We're actually positive on those already, but the whole point of me showing you this screen is that gap is closed now, and we have nothing else to close underneath. And this wedge is, again, the bounce scenario for the market. So if we back test this wedge, we don't have to touch the wedge. Clearly, we're way out here. Back test the wedge, and we head lower. That's going to be bullish for the market. I don't think that's the case. My scenario that I think is more likely is we had our wedge. All we're doing is back testing this larger wedge. Yes, you see we broke down from it. We're back testing this larger wedge, and we move much higher. And that would be very, very bad for the market. Okay, so that's what I got for you today. Put in the comments if you want to see something else. If something else is on your mind, let me know. If you want me to chart something, let me know. Don't forget to like the video, and we will talk to you tomorrow.